when are Jim and Lee getting back together?
That is the question. Don't you want to know?
That's right.
Not this season.
Yeah. Yeah, things are grim in season 3.
It gets good though at the end.
Very good.
You finally get to see Lee do something a little different.
She's angry. Very angry.
Hi. In the first, thank you for to coming in Belgium.
Sure.
Really happy for that, and I think I am not only for that. So, did you have a nickname with the TV show together with a friend? Just a nickname together.
What do you mean?
So, for the shooting with the older actor, if you have a nickname, and if yes, why this nickname?
For each other, like people on the show,
Yeah.
actors on the show?
Yeah.
We don't really. Do we? We don't.
Nothing that I can tell you right now, not in front of her.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I don't have any nicknames. Do you?
Well, it doesn't. Ben is a nickname.
Ben?
It's short for something.
I guess. Okay, you're right. Mo.
Sometimes people call me Mo, but that just sounds like a fat guy in a bar.
Which is kind of cool.
I don't mind.
Yeah. No, sorry. We don't have any nicknames. I'm sorry.
Hello guys.
Hi.
I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Okay. My boyfriend is not here, but he's really big fan of you guys, and he always has say, isn't it like most ultimate goal to actually work together in series? But I was wondering, have you guys ever had this awkward moment while you guys are acting? Because as a professional, it has to be keep it professional, but sometimes you tend to like oops moments.
Right. Like right now. So awkward. So awkward. Yeah.
There's times when you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. You find yourself getting into it. Come on. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what do you want to do with your hands?
You know, where you're just like standing in a scene and you've suddenly like said something and then your hands are hanging out in the air and then you're like, I gotta take my hands away now. I don't know. Sometimes you're self-conscious about something you've done. It's not quite the right thing. I have those moments all the time.
Yeah, like right now. It's after many seasons, people kind of lose their inhibitions on the show where we're all family at this point, so we all know each other pretty well. We're not afraid to embarrass ourselves in front of each other. So thank God we've crossed that bridge.
Hi, I have a question about the Firefly, because,
Yes.
I think
I'm ready to answer. No, go ahead, please.
Well, what was actually the crew reaction when the show got cancelled by Fox?
I was so sad, so sad.
I think Ben's watched maybe like 2 episodes
I've
of
seen
Firefly.
it.
Yeah,
It's very
I don't
good.
understand.
Guys,
Very good.
tell him to watch it.
I love it.
Watch it.
I've watched it.
And then the question is what was the reaction when you heard about Serenity coming up?
When the show was canceled, we were all really sad. It was my first TV show. I didn't really understand how these things worked, and I really loved working on it and loved everybody on it. And when it was canceled, I was like, yeah, of course, this was too good to be true. And we all went to Nathan's house, and we all got drunk, and we all had a pity party. And then Joss said to us there, don't worry, I'm going to fight really hard to take this to another network or get a movie made. And I was like, okay, Joss, you sad man, it's never going to happen. Okay. And sure enough, a year later, I'm in a bar with some friends, and somebody calls me up, my agent, says, so they greenlit Serenity, and you'll be shooting in 2 months in LA, and I did not believe it. It's really, really rare that a failed TV show, at the time it was a failed TV show because Fox thought nobody wanted to see it, gets made into a Universal big budget $45 million movie, which at the time was a really big deal. So thanks guys, that was all you.
Yeah, it's true.
So, hello.
Okay.
So when you have your first gig, you still have this point where you have to look up to other people, and it's a kind of a hierarchy. You're the bottom of the line. But there comes like the midlife crisis.
Are you referring to the two of us right now?
I'm
Me being the
referring both
bottom
of you.
and her. Okay.
No, both of you. There comes a point when you start something and you discover that you're a bit up, like you're already in facts here, so
Right.
you start to be important. Is it a realization, or is it, I mean, you're always important, but you know that you're the one who makes more of the decisions, like directing and everything.
Yeah.
Is there a moment that you can remember that the switch was made?
I remember a few years ago when people started referring to me as Sir, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess I got old.
He likes that at home too.
I do, yeah, I do. I really like that. I really wish you'd call me Sir more. It's an interesting thing when you're thrust into you can speak to this too, I would imagine. Although maybe I don't know, it'd be interesting to know if it's different for women than it is for men. But I was thrown into a leading role when I was very young, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was young, and there's a respect that people have for you on a set, but also you're still a kid, so they don't really know how to handle it. I didn't know how to handle it. And as you get older, you have a bit more of an understanding of what's expected of you and what else you should be doing. It's not just acting on a set. A television set has several hundred people on it, so there's a leadership. If you're the number one, as they say, the lead of the show, you should behave a certain way, you should treat people a certain way, you should encourage them a certain way. And that was an evolution for me, and I'm glad I had 10 years or more to really sort of figure that out. But there's not a particular moment when it switched for me.
I think it is different for guys and girls. It's rare that a woman is the lead of a show, actually. But I don't know, I still haven't had that moment. I definitely feel like I'm, just as a person, a little more confident and a little bit more like I know who I am and I know what I want. And so when I'm on a job, I can voice that a little bit more, which in the beginning I was very scared to take the time I needed for a scene, or if I had to do something difficult, I would just kind of like plow through and think that I didn't have time and I could take that time to prepare or whatever it was. But I also, every time I start a new job, I feel like it's the first time ever, and I'm incredibly nervous and I'm incredibly like discombobulated, and I do a lot of work for it, but then I just have to just be nervous the first few days until I get into it and I know what I'm doing. So I feel like I've never quite on top of it until like the end of the shoot.
On the show Gotham, there were a lot of villains. Which one are your favorites and why?
There's so many good ones. Riddler, I think, is awesome. The relationship this season between Penguin and Riddler is amazing. So fun. Those guys are great. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, those two guys are great together. Yeah, just echo that. There's some pretty great ones. We'll have some good ones coming up. Ra's al Ghul, and next season we'll have a few more treats.
It's just great to see this season all the bad guys come together and just wreak havoc on Gotham.
Yeah.
This guy's got a really tough job.
It's true. That's why I'm failing at it.
Hi guys, thanks for coming.
Sure.
Being here, you're probably aware that your characters and characters all across fandoms are very important for people. Having two little people back at your place, are there any characters from your childhood or even from current days that you try to present to them for them to follow as role models or anything?
No, my son just naturally found superheroes. I honestly don't know how it happened. I don't think we had anything in the house that had that, but like he's obsessed with Spider-Man and Batman and Superman, and it's really amazing to me how that mythology really sticks, you know?
And I've reminded him, he's obviously too young to watch the show, but that Batman's best friend is Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon is very important to Batman. Jim Gordon, Jim Gordon, Jim Gordon, Jim Gordon, Jim Gordon, Jim Gordon. So that when he turns 13 or whatever, whenever you can watch the show,
He won't forget you.
he won't forget me.
Okay.
No, it is interesting to see what an impact, especially on. It seems to be. I mean, we have a boy of that age, but that young boys particularly respond to superheroes at such a young age. It's almost like in their DNA. It's really kind of amazing. I think that desire to have superpowers, to be able to fight off bad guys, to do things that are so cool, is just it's in their bloodstream. But there wasn't any. There's nobody that we particularly. We don't try to push it on them. We just take it. So. Cool.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. First, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I want to know if you think Lee is still in love with Gordon, or
Lee is what?
is still in love with Gordon.
No. Definitely not.
Who are you in love with then?
Don't worry about it.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah? There's another guy? God. Oh no. Ever since I shot your fiance in the face, you've been so mean to me.
He was so handsome.
Yeah. Actually, he was your husband there for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
That was bad.
Didn't even get a wedding night with him.
Shouldn't do that.
Hi, this is more for Ben. While filming season 1 of Gotham, you were in a scene on which involved the flying raisins. Did you have the realization there are 4 Batmans in that scene?
The what?
The flying raisins.
Oh, yes.
When you found Jerome the first time.
Yeah. What's nice about laying on that groundwork is that you can you're able to tease what's to come with the Graysons and Robin and the whole sort of future evolution of the characters. So yeah, that was fun. That was really, really fun.
It's fun I think the show must be fun for you guys to watch for that reason, right? You see the little sprinkles of things that if you pay attention, it's like, oh, there's that character.
Yeah, and we're able to kind of play within the mythology, and so certain characters that you don't necessarily think will become other characters, they will. We just haven't said that yet. There's some treats at the end of the season on that end.
Hi. First off, I think you're both amazing actors.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope this question hasn't been asked yet, but first off, Ben, what did you? Have you seen Deadpool already?
Yeah.
What do you think of Morena's acting performance during the film?
So we go to the premiere, and big premiere, Hollywood style, but in New York, and she's not feeling too well, and she wants
a million months pregnant.
Very pregnant, with my baby. just to point that out, and she doesn't want to stay for the actual screening because she's been doing press all day long. She wants to go home, but I'm like, it's your big premiere. Let's. So we are seated directly behind Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Directly behind, they're the next row in front of us. And we have to wait until your character appears on screen. So a few minutes go by and her character appears on screen. And at that moment, I realize, because I've seen an earlier cut of the film, the next scene is their sex scene. Endless sex with Ryan Reynolds.
Through the seasons.
International Women's Day, all of that stuff. And I have to just sort of sit there and grin and bear it.
There's no time to leave.
There's no time to leave. We make it through the sex part, and then I'm like, I think we should go home. Let's go out here. And we walk away. And no, I'm incredibly proud of her. It's a really, honestly, it's a great film. It's funny, and she's fantastic in it, and I think she gets to show a side of herself that I see all the time in our life, but I don't.
Not the International Women's Day part.
Not the International, I don't see that side, thank God. But, good joke. But the humor that she has, it's on display right now, doesn't always come across, and I think it's like, I think there's a little bit of a double standard with women. They're like not supposed to be like funny and in this. I shouldn't say. They're not supposed to be funny and kind of biting in their humor, and she is nothing if not funny and biting in her humor.
Not always appreciated.
Yeah, it's fun.
Perfect answer.
Yeah, thanks. Nice and long.
I wanted to go back to Gotham, if you don't mind, Morena. Your character at first is this rookie cop that doesn't really... He still has to grow into his role in protecting Gotham, and he gets punched around a lot. But as the season progresses, so does Detective Gordon. He toughens up a little bit.
Yeah.
Did he have a lot to say in the progression of the character, or was it always scripted?
Yeah,
Did you add to it?
Well, there's definitely an evolution that occurs and a collaboration between the writers, and I've been able to have a good dialogue with the writers and producers of the show to, the trick with a show like Gotham is it's such a large canvas you're painting on. You're taking on the entire mythology of Batman, pre-Batman. So what is that? What does that mean? We've never seen it in any form, certainly not a television show, live action. So there was an awful lot of what is the show? What are we making when we first started? And it started off a little kind of like a procedural cop show, and then it became a much more serialized, character-driven show, which I think is what it really always ought to have been. And so yeah, I was involved in, kind of trying to push it in that direction and keep it honest in terms of the action and the emotion and the drama, that it didn't feel too cute, that it felt a little darker, a little edgier.
Hi, I wanted to know, if tomorrow you wake up in Gotham, what would be the places you would like to go and actually visit, and the characters you would like to meet or rather avoid?
I want to go to the Wayne Manor.
The Wayne Manor sounds nice.
Sounds really nice. I want to have a butler. I want Alfred in my life.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, not that way,
No, I know. No, I understand.
Just take off my shoes and make me dinner.
Yeah, he does a lovely roast.
And he can fight bad guys. I mean,
That's true.
It's a win-win.
That's true. Although Bruce Wayne always seems to be getting kidnapped.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Wayne Manor sounds nice. The rest of Gotham seems like not a place you want to visit. I think you might want to.
You'd have some fun in the Sirens Club.
Sure.
Can you tell we're jet lagged?
A little jet lagged. Sorry. I don't know the rest of the city. I'm not sure. Probably buy a ticket and get the hell out of Dodge. Go somewhere else.
Hi, I was just wondering if you're getting something started to get Barbara Gordon into Gotham.
Oh, you have the perfect costume for that. Yeah, we've talked about that. We're trying to figure out how to do that, given kind of where Barbara Keene is and where Jim Gordon is, in the series. But yeah, I've always liked the idea, always been keen on the idea, no pun intended, that Jim does have a daughter, like the comics, and that, it'd be interesting to see the next generation. We have the generation below us with the young Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle and formerly the young Poison Ivy. And we have our generation, and we have a generation, beyond us. But what's the next one? So, yeah, I hope we can do that. Trying. Great outfit.
Thanks. Just a little thing. We would like to offer our condolences for Ron Glass.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, can I ask you something? Can I maybe have a hug from you two? Only a hug.
I'm sorry, what?
Can I have a hug?
Oh, I'm sorry. If I hugged you, I'd have to hug every single person in this room.
Yeah.
But here's like a hug from afar.
Sorry.
Oh no, I'm running.
Thank you. It's a question for Ben. Did you still have contact with people from the OC?
Sure, yeah. Adam, Brody, and I are still friends, and saw him a while ago. Peter Gallagher I ran into in New York. Yeah.
Me.
That's right. Don't you remember her part on the OC? No? Gosh, she did how many episodes?
4?
4 episodes, she says.
I did. You got
Somebody-
right.
somebody
Somebody
pulled
in
this
here's
up
got to be a fan,
online.
and they've got to have watched it.
Yeah, she played a character named Maya.
Griffin.
Maya Griffin. The iconic Maya Griffin from the OC. The funny story is I don't remember meeting her, but we met.
That's right.
Yeah, we met.
I was really young and beautiful and skinny.
Yeah, I know. Not what I remember. We met on the show, and apparently I was mean to her.
You weren't mean. You were just cool. Know what I'm saying?
Let that be a lesson for you guys out there. That's how you do it. And then when she came onto Gotham, I was a fan of her work on Homeland, so it was a different sort of scenario.
That's weird because you haven't seen it yet.
No, come on, that's not true. I've seen it. I don't. Yeah, other than Adam and Peter, I haven't seen anybody.
Hi, earlier you mentioned Ra's al Ghul will appear next season. Does that mean Bruce is going to start his training with the League of Assassins?
Character, like you become a beloved character by millions of people in a big franchise like the Batman universe. Is that different than a new character, like a new show? Or?
Yeah. I think we all felt the responsibility of doing it correctly, and we were all sort of, when we first started out, conscious of the worldwide audience, of the potential worldwide audience of the show, but the notion that these characters are so beloved, and you don't want to mess it up. And obviously you felt the pressure of playing Dr. Lee Tompkins.
Everybody knows who that is.
Everyone's seen Dr. Lee Tompkins and everything.
Operating,
doing
yes.
things.
Funny story though, she's originally Alfred's love interest in the...
I believe, and Bruce's
doctor.
Therapist, right?
Therapist or doctor, sort of like his
doctor.
fixer.
Yeah. So, a little bit of a reimagining.
She also has white hair.
Yeah. And, and each of us is sort of different, than most of the comics, because obviously I'm a rookie detective. She is now, put to be, attached to Jim as opposed to Alfred. So there's a bit of a departure from a lot of the comics, and still trying to keep the same aesthetic, the same tone, but with different plot lines was a little bit of a challenge for sure.
Hi, I was wondering what other dreams of careers did you have if acting hadn't been an option or wouldn't work out for you?
That's a good question. Do you have any?
I always really liked astronomy growing up, and I thought I could do something science related. Not very good at it, but I would be in my alternate reality.
Right. I studied economics and political science in college, which I think was maybe going to, maybe a lawyer or something. My father's an attorney, so maybe I was going to do that. I don't actually know what I was going to do. I was very happy that acting came along in the middle of my university years because everything else seemed a lot more boring.
Morena, I'd like to take you back to V, the reboot of V. That didn't last very long, which I found sad because especially your character as the main villain, I thought was very strongly portrayed, more so than in the original series. How did you feel about the show being so short-lived?
It may have been short-lived for you guys, but it was very long-lived for me because we spent 3 years probably on and off shooting it, and even though we would shoot 4 episodes and then they were having issues with writers and we would shut down for a couple of months and then come back for 4 more and shut down, and it was a lot of back and forth, and we were shooting in Vancouver and I was relocating from LA, and it was really hectic time, and I was really sad that the show didn't have the opportunity to reach its potential. I thought the pilot was really, really strong and there was an opportunity there, that was missed with the writing. You know, there was a struggle with the network and the writers and everybody about like what kind of show are we making, and I think it could have been something really interesting and really kind of like conspiracy theory, very dark and nuanced that I think the network was not that interested in, but would have been fun for the fans. So, sorry.
Not your fault, certainly not. Do you guys have any other plans professionally together?
Not together.
Not right now, no.
Just Gotham.
No. She was directed in one scene by me, and that was it.
There's always next year.
There's always next year, exactly. No.
We've got time for one more question.
Hi. How far ahead does the show plan? Because there are so many characters to introduce.
How far ahead? What? I'm sorry.
Does the show plan?
Not that far ahead. I mean, we try. You know, the idea is that Gotham slowly or rapidly descends into anarchy. And when it finally bottoms out, you've got Bruce Wayne becoming Batman. But and at the same time, Gotham is falling apart. Jim Gordon is rising up the ranks of the police force and becoming commissioner. So that's the sort of 35,000-foot view of the show. Season to season, it really depends on, you know, what stories we want to tell. I mean, we have. Theoretically, if people would watch every year and we got renewed every year, we would have 10 or more years because Bruce Wayne starts off so young, 12, 13 years old, that by the time he is actually Batman and puts on the cape and cowl, that's probably at least a dozen years. So we have a lot of time to play around with. It's really which villains we want to focus on season to season, and I guess even more importantly, what do we want to have mark the evolution of our principal characters, Jim Gordon, Bruce Wayne, etc., through the villains. So the villains are the juxtaposition with them. So we choose the villains in order to get the evolution, and then through the evolution we find, you know, our various points along the way.
Is that something you would like to do for 12 more years?
Yeah, I would like to do it. I'd like to do it for a while. I love it. It's a great job, and you know, it's incredibly collaborative, and it's allowed us to have a good life, and I'm very, very proud of it. So yeah, I'd like to do it for a very long time, but you know, unfortunately, the way these things go, it's season to season based on the network.
Hi again.
Hi.
So, did you have a favorite moment with your character in the TV show Gotham?
Favorite moment overall? There's a lot to choose from. I think the pilot was very special. Pilots are very intense affairs because you're coming together for 1 month and you're shooting something and you have no idea whether you're going to keep shooting it for years to come or whether that's it. You meet some people and you say goodbye. So I remember walking onto the stage of the GCPD, which is a set that they've built in a studio in Brooklyn, which is 2 floors high. Not as high as this, but maybe half as high, which is very high for a set. And big, you know, probably this wide, at least, and deep. And I thought, whoa, all right, they're serious about this show. They want to make this show work. I better not mess it up. And so that was the first scene that I did in there, which was the scene, if you remember the pilot, where there's a bad guy and he grabs a cop, he pulls a gun off of her, he puts it to her head, and Jim Gordon is introduced. He's, you know, freeze, you know, stop, and he disarms the guy. And that was a moment I'll never forget, particularly because on the first take, I was coming down some stairs, which were very steep. I nearly tripped and fell down the entire rung of stairs as my first, like, heroic stop. So I'll never forget that moment. I did not fall, and we did another take. And it was better. So that's what I'll never forget. How about you?
I wish they'd use that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice in the bloopers?
I also will never forget the time you broke that guy's nose accidentally on set.
Oh yeah, I broke a guy's nose.
There's an episode that aired recently where he's it's a cop that's in the Jerome stuff that's turned bad, and him and Bullock are interrogating him, and they're playing good cop, bad cop, and Ben just like hits the guy across the face, and suddenly all this blood actually starts coming out of his nose, and the guy's like still trying to act.
I know, he kept going.
You're like, oh God, we have to stop that
terrible.
scene. Anyway, it's not on purpose.
No.
I really loved when my character first came on. We had a scene we shot in Brooklyn, where we had this sort of like film noir dialogue about coming back to my apartment. It was like the first few times that we started dating. And I remember that dialogue specifically, and I really enjoyed the repertoire and the back and forth and the rhythm of it and the speed. And I wish that at some point our characters could get back to that dynamic, because I thought it was nice.
Yeah, when they were in their when they were in their courtship, the Gordon Tompkins thing was always nice, because that like has a nice 30s, 40s Bogart Bacall kind of, pitter patter to it, which was always fun to play.
Well, I think I speak for everyone in the room here when I say we were very honored to have you here in Belgium Facts.
Thank
you for being with us, and hope to see you again in the future.
Yes, we would love
Thank you guys.
Please give it up for Morena Baccarin.